Alrighty, we should be going live here in just a moment. And there we go. Now we are live. Let me go ahead and pause it, make sure the audio is working okay. Um um let me let's see. So I'm gonna check my settings, just make sure the mic is up all the way. Just like that. So there we go. Um let's see. I'm gonna have my notifications turned off during this. There we go. All right, so we should be good. Let me turn back on my music a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and go to work. So actually pretty straightforward. Um, so we look here, we're working on pushing something up to GitLab at the moment. Oh, actually, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do that. Then we're gonna go ahead and make it where you can see me. We're also gonna add another source, which you can do, so you guys can see what's on my left screen over here. We're gonna do that. Share. Just so you know what's going on. Because I do have multiple displays, so let's keep that in mind. I'm gonna lock that in and we'll get to work. So we're gonna go ahead and head on over to this. So you'll see over here on the right is Quad. We're just pushing out AcreetionOS Mate, which is essentially just a build. Yeah, down here is not a big deal. That just means the client, meaning the harness itself, has not been updated, which is totally fine. It's not a big deal. If you want, I can keep polling it, compile, till it finishes, then verify. It should be done now. So what this is the same thing we were working on this morning. I took a break for a while. What we're essentially doing is writing a somewhat independent Tari based variant of VS Code. And why? If you look at the Chromium code base, it's very much monopolized by, or I guess it's duopolized by Microsoft and Google right now. And we need something that's completely independent to some extent, right? So if you go and look at how currently the extensions work, they use a Node.js background. So, or a backend. What we're doing right now, though, is we're just actually using that kind of through essentially a translation layer. I'll show you here in a little bit. Let me turn down my music. It's a little too loud. All right, there we go. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, let's get back to work. Let's talk through the build process. And then there's done, the repo is live. Cool. That means now I'm gonna have to go check this. So I'm gonna open up Chromium. We're gonna do a plus for a tab. And then we're gonna go open up this. But we're not going to that website. We're going to, actually, I believe it's in the actual org, if I remember right. There we go. If it's working and it failed. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and let's do this. This is obviously the site for it right here. It didn't actually launch the build is what that means. So we'll go ahead and feed it that information. We'll let it do its thing. So, all right. So if we look here, the build flow, one is actually just compiling everything. Then you'll go ahead and go down here. It's packaging the think of it like the translation layer for the extensions. You'll see what happens in the run. The compile actually progressed so far. Cleanup succeeded fine. The API proposed generation succeeded. Compile source ran for about an hour, then hit a real runtime error in the builder. So type error. There we go. What that means, the builder itself is not stuck now. It finishes the heavy compile phase with the reporting code, and the TypeScript build helper is calling an API shape that doesn't exist in the installed ANSI colors package. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to write our own wraparound package. Essentially, it's going to make it work. We are going to write a wraparound package for ANSI colors, so we don't have to worry about. We're not going to write a package. I think we're just going to write a wrapper. I have no reason to maintain an entire package or something like this. So ANSI colors, we don't have to worry about maintaining an entire package. We're trying to keep this manageable. So the remaining issue is dependency API mismatch. That's fine. That's what that was for. So that's next step. Fix the ANSI colors. We're not going to quite do what it said there. That's what we're doing. I'm just going to wrap around it. It'll be better for long term. And we have right. So then after that, run compile build. Cool. That's all we have to do. We have here both submodule directories are empty, and there's no get module files. Well, they shouldn't be empty. Like, what the hell? Go for it. And we're gonna go ahead and head on over here. We'll see which one this was. Yeah. So basically, this is gonna trigger an auto build for AcreetionOS Mate whenever somebody pushes to the release branch, whether that's release 1, release 2, whatever it may be down the road, because as we're doing release versions, it'll be able to track that. The reason I did it that way is because Dad and I have actually worked, and we're starting to get the same workflow finally. And I convinced them eventually, after a lot of convincing, that we're going to start using release branches to build off of. Building off of main is not always the best idea, especially whenever you are trying to do a release for your end user, right? And by this pulling in from the release branch, it's actually going to make it where it's going to always be a stable build for the most part. Because what this is essentially it's going to be static for the most part. It literally just clones in the AcreetionOS repository from GitHub, and then turns around and goes and builds it on GitHub. It patches everything with a new theming. The Calamares is identical. There is nothing different about the Calamares at all. Dad does have Calamares configs configured in there, and honestly, I will probably not even remove those. I will probably just write a injection script that's going to run and essentially remove some of the sentiment stuff there. I specifically say that because in the installation, there's the Calamares config for the cinnamon package that get installed. So what we'll do is have like think of like an after script. It's going to be after post install.sh, and what it will do is turn around and just remove the Calamares config package. By doing it that way, it means I don't have to go mess with a bunch of stuff, and it just keeps the workflow a little bit easier to automate. I know it's longer, but at the same time, we're in the year 2026. It's not a huge deal. I know it's bloated, and I don't like that, but again, I don't want to maintain a bunch of packages. It's just not really worth it. Done, push to both. Yeah, I should get past the submodule now. Good. I'll check this out in a minute. Actually, we should check it out right now. Sorry, I'm on 1,000,000 miles an hour right now. Actually, I need to check my pull request. I'll check out these later. I wrote them. I probably did them, to be honest. All right, there. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I need to sit up straight, but I kind of can't right now, or I'm gonna be hurting a lot. So we're going to go ahead and do this, send that into it. So obviously just during the build time, as you can see, it has to do with calamaris. It's probably just going to go build in a new calamari package, I'm willing to bet you. Or it might just delete the work directory. We'll see. One question before implementation: should a wrapper be strict or forgiving for unknown color methods? It should just convert the unknown color methods into known methods, please. I know I'm not actually doing it the direct way they want to do it on a lot of these with the AI stuff because of the way they're trying to do it is so black and white. It just doesn't work in the way that I want. One detail to confirm before editing: should the aliasing be purely name normalization, or do you want a small explicit map for known odd cases? Like, let's have a small explicit map, please. We'll go ahead and head on over here. And again, this is monitoring upstream. So what this is going to be able to see the AcreetionOS repository and then watch for the release branch like we talked about. So this will build once a week. Sorry, I set it up for twice a week. It'll just do it in GitHub Actions and then deposit the ISO out over on our GitLab. We specifically chose GitLab there because of storage limitations. It would probably fit on GitHub, barely. But we have a 2 gigabyte limit on GitHub by default, and I'm not sure if it'll register the ISO as 2.0 or 2.1, depending on where the megabyte capacity is on it. And I know that fluctuates a little bit depending on build. But it's much, much, much smaller than most other ISO images. You can thank Dad for that. He was a pain in my butt about that, actually, and he's the one who got it to be that small. And I argued with him about it for the longest time. But appreciation to him. But yeah, no, with it being so large, so we'll just have to put it over on the GitLab because we do self-host that in a VPS. So there's a lot more space. If we ever get low there, I will just configure the backend to start compressing our release files. And I am so sorry, my chest hurts. Push to both. Broken sim links inside AI rootfs are intentional and resolved correctly inside the live ISO. Jekyll shouldn't be touching them at all. All right. That actually makes sense. So we'll go here. We'll look. Tiny explicit alias map. That's fine. Yeah. Yep. That's totally fine. Wrap ANZ colors in one local module. Yep. Normalize method lookups to that map. Fall back to the original method if it exists. Fall back to identity output if it doesn't. If you want, I can extract the exact wrapper shape in the files that should import it without editing it. Please do so. We'll go ahead and head on over here. The upstream monitor now only proceeds when the GitHub release was created from a branch whose target committed starts with release dash. Good, that's exactly what we're going for. Change the monitor upstream, fetches the release list, filters for the first non-draft release. I should probably modify this. Make it where when it monitors release dash star, please make sure it always builds off the latest branch unless it is something along the lines of release dash star dash. Okay, what that specifically means is basically it's going to watch for release dash anything, but in the exception case of release dash, let's say a number dash dev or dash whatever, it's not going to build off that by default because again we're trying to push out a stable release to our end users. What's next? More CI work. What's this for? That's right. I'm gonna go check the repository here in a minute. It didn't understand. Only based off of the latest official release, not off of a branch that is under development, something like release dash 1-dev devel, so on, so forth. I just had to clarify for it. What's next? Okay, no. Like I said, we're gonna head on over to Chromium. We're gonna go check out the build process, see if that finished. Let's see what my left monitor says. What change, fetch, and parse article now lives directly inside the page file. Okay. If that's the case, that means if I go to trans.strongrules.org, which I actually made this morning, I should be able to just do this button. But no, it's not doing it right. What it's supposed to do, if you're wondering what's going on, this is supposed to essentially bring in a reader. We're going to have it use the built-in browser reader. Just have it use a built-in browser reader while also and pull the text. So what it's going to essentially do is go to their website, pull off their text, throw it in a browser reader, and you can read it that way. If you're not aware, that's how Firefox does it for the most part. But I'm pretty sure they use an API backend. But I'm not going to bother with something like that. It's not worth it. And what I'm doing is just giving people general information about LGBTQ stuff. There's general politics in here, but it does relate to transgender people and what's going on in the United States right now. This isn't about just trying to hyperfixate. It's more so about the fact of a lot of targeting right now is kind of bullshit that they're doing it, and I wish they wouldn't. But again, I can't control them, but I can inform people, and this is the way to inform people, giving them access to the resources to make things easier for them. Let's see. Is anybody watching? Nah, nobody's watching. No worries. Cool, it's building and testing locally. This is again the repository. We'll head on over here. Page and build deployment failed once again, but we'll go ahead and check. At least we got to the artifacts this time. We got to scroll down. We did last time actually. Well, we got much farther. Whoa, like way farther. I'm assuming it had a problem with the image right here. So what we'll probably have to do is convert it over to another format. That's my guess. What I do its thing. The docs upstream sync strategy.md now says automated tracking only follows official release --star branches and ignores dev developer style branches. If you want, I can make the branch filter stricter still. For example, only accepting release --x.y.z style. Please do so. Please do not let a user push up without having a release tag on those branches. If they are trying to push to them, we're going to block out the branch unless they publish it. I want their source. What do you need done with these? Should they be committed, reviewed? Let me see. Oh shit, I didn't even tell what the error was. I'm so dumb. Hey, copy. Cancel. Got to give it context, you know. That's actually kind of cool. I didn't know you could use the mobile app. I'm checking the release tag naming conventions on the docs, so the enforcement rule match. That's fine. We're gonna go over here now. So it went ahead and modified it. We are not using an API. Just going to leave it to the browser to figure out. There's no reason for us to directly program it in, you fucking dumbass. Not you guys, the fucking website's being a dumb fuck. Because like I said, there's built-in readers. Whether that uses the PDF reader or whatever, it can convert it into something. If this doesn't work, I'm just going to have it convert everything into a PDF reader. And I know for a fact they both have a PDF reader built in. And I can just have it use a build chain in the background and do it. It'll take seconds. I'm actually going to write this and have it ready. Whenever a user clicks the clean read, have it convert the website into a PDF using an action or similar and display it. I need you to also please make sure that there is a progress bar or message or both telling them that it's happening, so they don't just click away thinking that it's not working. Let's see. So done what I added. Okay, falls Hunless head hasn't. Yeah, that's totally fine. Updated docs release guide. That's totally fine. And now says release branch would require that annotated tag pattern. Correct. Also notes that you must require the release branch guard check and branch protection to actually block bad pushes. That's totally fine. Important, a workflow alone can't stop a push after the fact. To truly prevent us, set branch protection on release branches and require the workflow to pass. I know I need to set it. I know, I'll set that later. Please do so. Because I want to lock this down. You know, like I'm not trying to be paranoid. I'm just tired of bullshit. Yeah, delete the unused. We're gonna try to keep this. I don't want things to be messy because everything's already so messy. Push to both. The validator now strips handling comments before checking each package name and the conflict. Check properly handles packages, followed by comments too. Thank you. Run compile build. Yeah, go for it. Let's do it. All right, let's build. I'm just gonna tell it to send it up because I could just do a push, an empty push, but like, okay. I don't really give a shit that much. I guess it's not so much that I don't give a shit. It's more so like, I don't know. Too tired to give a crap at the moment. My code. God, my fucking chest hurts today, and I don't. All right, it failed still. Okay. All right, I gotta get off, and I need to lay down. Something's going on, so I will be back here later on, probably.